an investor doing things on your own? How about someone working with a firm that isn't so responsive or in sync with your investment philosophy? My podcast talks you through all things financial. Look, there's stuff you don't deal with very often, but investments, insurance, and retirement is something we plan for each and every day. This is the Pennywise Financial Podcast, and welcome to the show. All right, welcome to the Pennywise Financial Podcast. Constantine here at Monarch Wealth Management, and I have a guest today. I'll introduce her in just a moment, but a couple things that are on your hearts and minds right now. The stock market is booming. People are excited and also a little bit nervous. As they head and work towards retirement, I know there's a lot of things on their mind, what they're thinking about as far as their planning. And with me today is a guest that I brought in. Her name is Holly Crocker from Senior Consultants of New York?
Senior Living Consultants.
Senior Living Consultants of New York. Welcome to the show, Holly.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Good being here.
Thank you very much. I think it's always great to first start off with an introduction to our guests and who they are and what they do. So tell us, let's peel back the curtain a little bit on Holly's business. Tell us what you do, a little background on the company and yourself.
So my educational background started with occupational therapy, and I did a lot of, I did internships in the psych center, hospitals, OPWDD, so different backgrounds to learn different diagnoses. And then when I graduated, I went and worked in rehabs, such as people coming out of the hospital that they need 3 or 4 weeks to get better.
Right.
And I help them bounce back to rebound or bounce back to normal. And it's a complicated method when you're in rehab because we don't know, or we could be a new baseline for normal.
Right.
Is it going to be, do we have to adapt our environment? Do we have to modify our environment? Do we have to modify how we do our activities of daily living? And there's a lot of medical terminology involved in it.
Yeah, I bet.
So I had clients when I was doing it, and they were told, it's unsafe for you to go home. You cannot go home. I was the bad guy. It broke my heart.
And you delivered that news?
Yes, during a care plan meeting. And I had explained why to them. You know, then they look at me, and my clients become my family. And they're like, where do I go? And I'm like, I don't know anything about independent living, assisted living, or memory care, and I don't have any resources for it. So I actually went into home care after and was able to get on that side of things. But then I learned about these services where there are companies that can help people find independent living, assisted living, memory care coming out of rehab or coming from home that will fit their financial needs, geographic needs, and same with their medical needs.
Were you always local?
I have been.
To Rochester, okay.
Yep. So graduated
So
from
school
Pittsford,
here?
Mendon. Yep, Pittsford, Mendon.
No kidding. One thing I think a lot of people might consider, and I've actually had people come up and ask me this question. We have AI, we have Google, we have all sorts of information at our fingertips. Holly, can I just go online and look up a couple things and then quickly know the answers and not have to hire you or
Absolutely.
anybody else?
Yep.
Is that a valid question?
Absolutely. And I Google a lot. That's their.
I think we all do.
We don't do encyclopedias anymore.
No.
But Googling, you're going to get the surface level as to what each community has to offer. And when you go and tour a community, you're meeting with a salesperson. They're selling their community. They are proud of it. They should be. Meeting with me, my services are free to my clients. I have contracts with the communities. I'm not going to give my opinion on any of the communities, but I will let someone know if I had someone leave due to like unsatisfactory conditions or treatment. But I'm going to let them know the ins and outs that aren't going to be told to you, such as, are there any hidden fees that aren't going to be brought up? And then all of a sudden you're signing paperwork and you're like, what's this community fee? What's the second person fee? Is the pet fee monthly? You're also going to find out they need to come assess you if you're going to like assisted living or memory care. And everyone thinks, oh, I'll be fine with the assessment, but then you get denied. But it's, why did I get denied? Oh, I didn't know that they couldn't help me lift my legs into bed. And they are not a community that can do that. So some communities have their enhanced license where it's a stepping stone between assisted living and nursing home, so you can age in place longer. But basically, I explain it to clients that when they decide to become enhanced, they're getting given a checklist by the state, and they all check off different boxes.
So tell me let me just back up really quick. You said an assessment. Assessment like a financial assessment, like saying you have valid assets to be able to be welcome into our community, or is it more what kind of requirements you have health-wise, or
Both.
combo?
Yep. So
Okay.
some communities want to see that you have assets, that you could be there 3 to 4 years. And they want to see, what is it? Is it in a trust? Is it irrevocable trust? Is it in stocks and bonds? Do you have long-term care insurance? They want to see, and is it liquid? Is it money you can take out right now? For instance, if it's a community that does need liquid and you're like, well, my asset is my house, you have to have it on the market and most likely be contingent to be considered for their community.
Okay. So if it's not on the market and contingent or non,
Yep.
then it wouldn't be a liquid asset. It would not help
Correct.
you.
Correct.
in a
For one
sense.
that needs a liquid asset. Others,
Okay.
if you have a house, they just consider it as an asset, no problem. And there's some communities, if you can afford month to month, they don't care where the money's coming from. It can come from family, it could come from you, as long as you can afford to pay.
What's the average cost of that you're seeing right now
Yep.
in the community, like on average, a month?
So for like independent living, depending on size of room and sometimes location of room, if it's closer to the dining hall, it can be more expensive.
Oh, wow. It gets that particular.
Sure does. Yep. And that's things with people. That's why they'll give you a range, like $2,500 to $3,000 for independent living. And assisted living, the lowest one I know right now is about $3,200 a month.
Okay.
And if we're adding on enhanced services, it can go over $10,000 a month.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen 10 to 15. I mean, it depends on obviously where they're going, and then is there like meal plan options? You can get 2 meals a day, 3 meals a day, whatever it might be.
Independent living, more and more of them are becoming all-inclusive, where the meals are included. Or if you have a kitchenette, then it's 3 meals included. If you have a full kitchen, it's 2 meals included. Some, it can be a la carte. If you want them to do your laundry, that's extra. If you want housekeeping, that's extra. Does the housekeeping include doing your sheets, your bed sheets, and putting on your sheets? Because that could be challenging for mobility-wise.
Oh, yeah.
And a fall and tripping hazard for someone changing their sheets. So when I started my business, I went and learned the ins and outs of all of them, the smallest little things that you don't think would be so important and be extra cost until you have to know it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Same with assisted living. Assisted living is more in an all-inclusive. Meals are included. People don't know. Per New York State, it's a Department of Health requirement that clients have to eat at least 2 meals a day in the dining hall.
They have to.
They have to. Yep.
Okay.
Unless they were going out with family for lunch or something, that will count as one of the meals. But otherwise, 2 out of 3. All 3 are offered, but you have to go to 2. It helps with, monitoring, are they eating? What are they eating?
That's
Any
true.
choking hazards. So it does help with the safety aspect.
It's got to be good, too, from a social aspect, like you're getting acclimated to the community, the residents, right?
Yeah. And many communities have an ambassador program. So I always said I wish they had this for college, where a resident that's there takes you under their wing, introduces you to other people. Come sit with me at lunch. Hey, it's bingo. Let's go to bingo together.
Love it.
Yes. So they try to help acclimate them sooner.
Love it.
Yeah.
So they feel welcome. They feel like they want to be there.
Yep.
I mean, the last thing anybody wants is to be somewhere that they feel like they're being held against their will. Like, I don't want to be here, but I have to be.
Well, especially with assisted living, there's such a stigma. I think it's around the wording of it. And I say, assisted living is just independent living with extra services when it's needed. It's not trying to take away any of your autonomy. And you can park your car there. You can still drive. You can come and go as you please. All you do is sign in and out. That's it. You could go stay the night at a friend's house or a family member, and they'll pack your meds up for you. No problem.
So it's not jail.
It is not jail.
Not jail time.
Definitely not. But you don't know that until you go see it. And a lot of people have the stigma, like my grandfather. There's only nursing homes. That's all they picture. But nursing homes are a facility where independent living, assisted living, memory care, they're communities. It's definitely just a different feeling.
So let's talk about the cost aspect, because you said at the beginning that if I decided to hire you in your firm, right, there's no cost initially, right?
Correct.
do we sign a contract? How does that work?
I have you sign an e-acknowledgement, just
Okay.
saying that you are working with me. I do let communities know, hey, I have a prospect that might like to come to your community. I do not give out your name. I give out your name. I do not give out your number, your email, no contact. They only have to go through me. So they'll blow up my phone, the communities will, and not theirs. And at no time is there a cost to my service.
Okay. And then how do you get paid? From the homes that you're being placed in, or?
Yep.
Okay.
So I describe it kind of like a realtor for senior living.
I see.
Yep. And it's just they ask, well, which one would you pick for your mom? Which one would you pick for your dad? I'm like, honestly, I'd pick something different for my mom and something different for my dad because they're two separate people. Like my mom was an introvert, my dad's an extrovert. And it just depends which community would be more suited for their liking and their medical needs. But I tell everyone, it's like picking a house. It's a feeling you feel. That's why it's great to go there, have a tour. And if you're not sure, go back and have lunch. We can arrange for them to enjoy a meal, taste the food, see how the residents interact with the staff. It's really important to see the day-to-day ins and outs.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So when you think about the time that people come and see you, when is that usually? Because I have a time. People usually come to me and say, I'm going to retire in 2 months. And I say, okay, what have you done so far? And they kind of, scratch their head and say, I don't know. And it's like, you're planning for your 25, 35 years retirement right now in the next couple of months.
Yep.
But how is it in your case?
I will say it varies. It is less stressful if you pre-plan. There's a couple different ways people can pre-plan, and there's a lot of post-planning, unfortunately. I say start even 10 years out. Let's take tours of communities. There's some communities, that could be 6 months out. The thing is, you don't know if something's going to happen where you had a fall, you broke something, or you had a stroke, you're flaccid on one side of your body, you go to rehab, and you can't go home. You're not able to be as involved in picking a community.
I'm sure.
At that time. But I just get the clients that it's like, well, when it's time, I'll go to this, for instance, I'll go to the Jewish home. I'm like, that would be great. But we got to think about availability. We're going to make sure medically you're able to go there, and same with financially. And they might not have a bed open for 6 months. But if you're on the wait list, every time an opening happens, they'll give you a call and say, hey, are you ready or not? You
said 10 years out. 10 years
Yep.
From what? From retirement? From?
No, I would say until you, I would say I don't get many people that want to start early and go into,
Right.
They don't want to think they're ever going to assisted living. They want to pass away at, their home or a family member's home. But 10 years as in, I'm trying to think how to phrase it. I would say 10 years as to, I know at some point I need to go there. If they're 60, 65, 70, I'm going to go look now and see what that community looks like. It's going to be a different feeling 10 years from then.
Oh, I'm sure.
But
yeah,
you
right.
can at least eliminate
That's a
the
good
ones
point.
where it's like, you know what? I didn't have a good feeling walking in there. It just wasn't my vibe. Cross it off the list. Let's go to another one. So at least when it becomes time or if an emergency happens, you're ready for the communities that you're like, you know what? These top 3 were my top 3.
It is kind of hard to define, though, too, because I have people that are 55, 60 that you would assume are 80 or 90. And then I have a 92-year-old that's still downhill skis. So it's hard to define. It can't be done really by age. I mean, it could be, generally speaking, but not everybody fits into that category, right?
They don't. And unfortunately, I do a lot of work with Parkinson's support groups. And, I have some people with Parkinson's, they retire, they're, 67, and they get diagnosed with Parkinson's.
Oh, no.
And it's just, they're so young, and you didn't expect that. And it is a big hit. And that's why I say it's like you may not have a diagnosis of something now, but it's better to go look at places before the diagnosis because then you have enough going on. You don't need to worry about touring at that point. It's
at the last minute.
When you pre-plan. If you post-plan, that's the ones in rehab. And I walk a lot of clients through the rehab process. It's usually about 20 days, and then insurance likes to cut off. And either you can go home, or they're saying you need 24/7 care. And you got to make a quick decision. So I love when social workers get a hold of me. They'll ask the client, is it okay if I get a hold of, Holly, and she can just come talk to you. There's no pressure at all. But even if the plan is to go home, we don't know after 3 weeks if you can. So let's look at places now. Especially insurance will give you a 48-hour cut notice.
What does that mean, 48-hour cut notice?
So every week, insurance will review a client's case and say, are we going to continue therapy? Are we progressing enough to keep them in rehab? And once it gets to the point where they're like, you know what, I think we've maxed out on rehab. I think they can be discharged. They don't need to be in rehab anymore. You have 48 hours until you have to start private paying to stay there.
So it literally is like your cutoff.
Mm-hmm. And private pay, I think the lowest I know is $550 a day to $800 a day. And then if you want to continue there with like getting your medications with PTOT, that's more money on top of that.
Wow.
Yep. And so it's better if we could pre-plan as soon as possible. And there's like a pre-plan in rehab where it's when you get there, you call me. Hey, I don't know if we can go home. If your goal is to go home, that's my goal. But if we can't get there right now, this is what we need to do. And we could do a short-term stay.
I was actually going to ask that. So we talked about people being somewhat proactive, and when do they call you? Is it ever too late in a sense of, geez, I have no options. I'm kind of stuck. This is my diagnosis. I just have to deal with it, and whatever happens to me, happens to me.
Oh, yes, that's terrible. Or people don't know if – a lot of people think that they're just automatically nursing home appropriate. They would never qualify for assisted living. Or financially, they're like, I don't have that much, and it wouldn't last so long. I'm just nursing home appropriate. I'm like, let's break it down. Let's go over every little detail, such as, like, I can't get out of a chair by myself. I need someone to boost me. I'm like, okay, that's enhanced assisted living. Some communities signed up to do that. Some did not. You know, like, I can't sit up in bed on my own. Okay, well, some communities signed up to do that. Some others, I have a catheter. That is still enhanced assisted living. Not all of them. Some of them can empty the bag. Others can switch the day bag to the night bag. What do you need to help with exactly? It's little minor details of each one.
And you were even telling me before the show that there's certain things that they can and can't do if it's in the room, out of the room. Like I wouldn't even think that would be an obstacle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't until, again, you have to. It's such as with terminology for occupational therapy, there's, standby assist, contact guard, one-person assist. It's just a chart as to how much assistance you need with ambulation and transferring, going from one surface to the next, like getting out of bed and going to a wheelchair. So standby assist is someone's just standing next to you and is there in case you need a little assistance. Contact guard, we're hanging on to you with a gait belt, and if you're going to go down, I got you. One-person assist is they have to physically assist you. Many licenses don't have the phrase contact guard. They have standby assist and one-person assist. So if I get PTOT notes and I see their contact guard, I got to talk to PTOT and the social worker and say, hey, this community, we can't be contact guard. We either got to be a one assist or a standby assist. Let's try and get to one of those and have the terminology be that and have them just not be contact guard. Obviously, we want to be standby assist.
Right.
But if we can and we are intermittent, then I would say I'd feel safer with a one assist, just so we can get to the community that they really desire to go to.
Do you think that's in place for like liability reasons? Like I don't assume that I can just readily pick you up. Maybe I physically am not able to do that to be able to help you like that. And you just assume that I'm going to be able to do that for your mom or dad. I can't. And now you're suing me because I let mom fall and it was on my watch. Is it something like that maybe? Or
I think with standby assist, it's a little bit maybe they can be a little more independent and a little more stable on their feet. Contact guard, in my opinion, is I think my client's inconsistent. And maybe their knee buckles, and sometimes they go down. So I'm not helping them. I'm just hanging on. But if that knee buckles, I got them. So it's a little more of a liability. I could definitely see that. A one assist, usually you need more help getting out of a chair. So you need to push that button to get that help to be able to do it. So the contact guard can be tricky because it's depending on stability, I would say.
Wow, there's so many factors that go into this, the details and process. I could see how overwhelming it would be. So you've given us some content about your background, kind of different elements that you've spoken on. How about the fear of going broke? I don't want to call Holly because I know all our money's going to vanish into thin air.
So I get that concern a lot, and I'm not someone where I want to put you in a community and you can only be there 6 months. That's not going to do you any justice. I want to make sure you could have the longevity. So with money, there are some communities where they have a spend down to Medicaid, and they might have some Medicaid's available, but they want to see that you can afford 3 years worth, and then once the money runs out and you have to go on assistance, then you can stay there on Medicaid. Or some have, I know a continuum of care community that they have a grant. So after 5 years, you can apply for a grant, and so they'll help. So if, say, you make $2,000 in Social Security, but the room is $6,500, then the grant will pay the difference, so you can stay there longer.
Is that like a state program or?
No, so they're a not-for-profit, and they get donations, and that's how they're able to keep their residents there longer when money runs out.
Wow, didn't even know that was available. Mm-hmm. Again, I don't think a lot of people would find that online. What about the Medicare misconception, which I have a lot of clients who I've talked to, and we talk about kind of longevity, and some live, had parents live in their late 90s, early hundreds, and they don't see anything different for their longevity. And then they say, "Oh, well, I've got Medicare. I'm fine." What does that mean? Well, I'm fine. Nobody will deny me coverage. I'll be able to get into a house. And so how does that actually work? How do you deal with that? Like what how do you educate people in that sense?
That's where I think I get the big eyes when I talk to them, because they all think Medicare is going to cover it. Medicare does not cover any of it, unfortunately. If you have long-term care insurance, that would cover, depending on your policy, with a spend-down period, that would cover assisted living and memory care. And same with nursing home. Nursing home can be extremely expensive. But Medicare, what they're going to pay for? They're going to pay for the PT, OT stay, for the rehab stay. They're going to pay for prescriptions, hospital stays, but they will not pay for the living aspect of it.
What about former vets? I have some vets that say, "Oh, the VA will take care of me." Yeah. I don't know what that means. Yep. Is there some secret that I don't know about, or?
Yeah, so there are VA communities where they could go be at. Sometimes the problem is a wait list. How fast do you need to be in? My dad is one of them. I'm going to the VA. Yep, he's already set. It's either that or die in the house. And there are aspects to that, too, to make sure that you can qualify to be at the VA. Same thing as assisted living, because it is still a housing. But there are this thing called aid in attendance. It's something you have to qualify for, such as you have to have a certain amount of income and asset level. You have to be honorably discharged from the military, but that can help you pay for assisted living and things like that. You'll get like a stipend every month.
Wow.
Yep, to help with care.
Very cool. Yeah, we have a special program here for retired and active military first responders. I just feel like it's a segment that gets kind of left out, from time to time, and we just forget about it. Mm-hmm. And they've given a lot up, I think, for us.
Absolutely.
In our freedom. So, how about the eviction question? How do you even broach that topic? Like, I know we talked about eligibility, 3 years worth of being able to financially fund some of this. I hate to say it, do you get kicked out? How does that work?
That's actually the phrase they ask, too. Like, do I get kicked out?
Yeah.
That's always the
That's
phrase.
what they ask me, too.
Yep. So you're not going to get kicked out. You need to have a safe discharge and plan. So say when money starts to get low, that's where we need to start planning. So when we're getting towards the Medicaid and the community doesn't help support anything with Medicaid, then they're going to help you start planning for the next level. That could be nursing home, or maybe you need an assisted living that just deals with Medicaid, but they can't kick you out unless they have a safe place for you to go.
Okay, that's reassuring.
They will work with you on that.
How about, you see families that maybe have some wealth, that have utilized some trusts and things like that. Others have used long-term care insurance, although far and few between now as far as the offerings as to what's available. Mm-hmm. I have a lot that have it, that question, do I still pay for it? And now they're in their late 70s, right? And premiums are going from, I don't know, 7, 8,000 to 10, 11, 12. And they say, can I afford it? And compared to the assets that they do have, I think there's some calculation that can be done. But what about the middle class squeeze? You know, $8,000 or so a month. What are families doing that don't have a lot of wealth? They don't have the ability to pay for long-term care policies. They can't buy one. They don't have enough assets necessarily to worry about protecting and leaving a legacy, but they do have something. You know, they've worked hard. They might have $500,000, let's say, in retirement, and maybe, you know, a house paid for, cars and things like that. And then besides that, they have some non-retirement assets, but they don't have millions. So where do those people kind of fall? What happens there?
So I will say probably 85% of my clients, they are the middle class.
They are.
It's very common.
Okay.
Yep. So with that, I'm here to be your educator and guide as to what's out there, how to stretch your money the longest. And this is the type of thing where, for instance, like enhanced assisted living. If I am able to be with you at the beginning of rehab, I say this is what you need to work on, because some enhanced communities have either a flat rate for enhanced or they have levels 1 through 5. And the higher the level, the more it costs. But I'm like, okay, if we can, you know, be able to work on our ambulation in the room, then we don't need as much help. So we might go down a level. So trying to help save money in the long run. So we look at all little things such as, you know, could we do a bedside commode instead of doing someone coming to get you every couple hours? Are you deemed safe enough to use the toilet right there because it's right by your bed and it's less of a fall hazard? That will keep the money down lower. So I look at just little ways to save and stretch it out as long as possible. But I also want you to be at a community where it's not going to rob the bank in 2 years, 3 years, because depending on age, because we don't know how fast we're going to age and how we're going to age. And I've had some people as well where they don't want to start at a community that has their enhanced license. No problem. We could go to an assisted living, doesn't have their enhanced license. When it's time for enhanced, you give me a call. Sometimes the community.
What does that mean? Would they have to move then?
Then they would have to move.
Ooh.
So
I hate moving.
I know, me too. Oh, I've done it so often. So with that, I just give them their options. So if you start having trouble with this, you're going to have to move. It's very important. Or if we're starting to show some cognitive decline, or we have a cognitive impairment or traumatic brain injury, I think it would be best, I'll give my advice, where going to an assisted living, being attached to a memory care, then you just switch rooms and a hallway compared to
much easier
moving again. So I just, any way to make them feel more comfortable with the decision they're doing financially and medically, such as, you know, I had a client one time that he had a catheter, a Foley catheter, and he was thinking about getting the surgery to get a subpubic one. And I said, okay, these are the communities that can accept someone with a subpubic catheter. These are the communities that cannot.
So not every community will accept that.
Depending on the catheter.
Okay.
So I gave him the education, and he chose a community that could not accept that. He did decide to have the surgery. They gave me a call, and we switched communities. But he at least knew ahead of time his options, and if I do this, I need to switch.
Wow, that's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that also kind of leads into where does your services stop, or where do your services stop? It's like, okay, you've placed me. I have a home. I'm nice and cozy. Like, that's it. It stops there. I
actually always hate that. It's like so many of my clients are like, so the last phone call, is this the last phone call? Is this the last time? I'm like, no. I'm like, you do become my family because I care so much about them. I want to make sure, first of all, how are we doing there? Is it the right community? Is it the right fit? Because you don't know until you move in. It's the same thing with a house. Like, you don't know what's broken until you move in.
Oh, tell me
and
about
you gotta
that.
Fix everything. It's like, am I going to jive with the people? Do I really like the food? Are the activities more for me? Don't know till you get there. And I want to know. I give like a week and then be like touch base, because I know there's a lot going in the week. We're going to move in. We're going to put pictures up. We're going to get used to people. How are we doing? What's going on? Are we liking it? Are we thriving? Are we declining? So I want to make sure they're comfortable where they are. And then a month later, I'll send an email about a month later instead of, doing the phone call. But then I usually get the phone call because they want to talk. So I love that feeling where it's that we still feel connected. after that. And even in the future, I don't specialize in nursing homes right now. I know them all because I work with the rehabs, but I won't give my opinion on nursing homes, but I'll let them know this is what you need for nursing homes. This is what this requires. This is how much this will be. Like, I'll walk them through the process and how to get into one if that's the next step. Or if they need financial advisor, if they need an elder law attorney, anything like that. I like to be a one-stop shop just for resources. So I've had people call me 2 years down the road and say, hey, do you remember helping me? I'm like, of course I remember. Like, absolutely. And they're like, I just thought of you because, we're really struggling with the elder finding an elder law attorney. Do you have any suggestions? And that's it. I always want to be a resource.
Very good. Before the show started, I know we talked a little bit about money too, and we talked about how to qualify, what it costs, and then you mentioned something early on, which was the nickel and dime fees that are kind of buried, like that you don't know about. You show up, you move in, and then it's like, hey, we're gonna charge you this fee, that fee. What would be the biggest one that you see that people kind of forget about or maybe don't know?
I would say the biggest one, many of the communities have a community fee.
What does that mean?
It's a one-time fee you pay up front.
Okay.
So how it's been described to me through the communities is it covers, someone coming out to do an assessment, all the paperwork that's needed. When we move out, they might have to replace the carpet. They might have to paint. They might do a full gut redo. That helps cover that cost. They got to patch the holes from the things hanging. And sometimes, the lowest one I know right now for like assisted living wise, $1,500 all the way up to $5,000 on top of the room rent.
I see.
Yeah, you could have a pet fee. Is it monthly? Is it one-time fee? Same with a second person fee. Some people think, a couple moves in, it's going to cost, just for one room, for two people, no problem. Second person fee could be $800 to $2,000.
Yeah.
On top of just the room rent for one person.
Wow.
Yeah, and independent living, is housekeeping included? If not, that's a la carte. That's extra. If you need laundry service, that's extra. Some places for transportation, do they have their own transportation bus? Oh, no, we use a third-party transportation. That could be $80 to $150 a round going to a medical appointment. That's extra.
Good point.
Yeah. They have a hair salon. Each one has a hair salon, but that's extra. Some people think that's included. Yeah, it's a lot of extras.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an all-inclusive resort where you show up and leave the wallet at home, right? Let's shift gears from the money portion, because I think you did a good job of kind of explaining, at least on the surface level. Mm-hmm. How about the emotional side? Like, think about a stubborn parent that doesn't want to, I'm never leaving this house. I'm never getting out of here. I'm going to die here. Mm-hmm. And how do you help the kids, it could be relatives, but usually the kids that are kind of helping mom or dad navigate this situation for somebody who might need 24/7 care?
So it is hard for the kids. I have elderly parents too. It is hard. And, with my background in OT, when my mom had surgery and I taught her how to get out of bed with my OT skills, she didn't listen to me. The OT came in, showed her the exact same thing, and she listened. So I was like, okay, I get the picture. I see what's going on here.
I love how that works.
It really helped me understand, it's harder with family. So when they're like, I don't know how to talk to them. I don't know how to, phrase this to them. They think I'm trying to throw them out of the house and like, bring me in. Let me come in. Let me talk to them. You can be present. You cannot. I'm just going to talk to you person. Be like, I'm not here to throw you out of your house, but I have seen instances where something happens because we don't know what's going to happen, and I want you to be prepared. I want you to stay here as long as possible. If you can pass away here, wonderful. If you can't, you need to be prepared. And all I'm saying, we're going to go take tours. We're going to go get some free lunches. We're just going to have a good time, meet some people. We might go, the one community has the RPO that comes 4 times a year. Let's go to one of those and go watch
Awesome.
the RPO. They have contract with them. Let's go make this exciting and not a doomsday thing that my kids are trying to get me out of this house. No, your kids are worried. They're scared. It may be coming out in other ways, but they're nervous. It's their lives too. And 24/7 care, it can be a lot for the children. I've been there. And I'd like for you just to know all your options, even if that's 24/7 home care. I can explain how it works. Some people don't want someone in their house 24/7, so they'd rather go to a community. But just go see it. It's not a nursing home. It's a completely different feeling. So I walk them through the whole process. I had one woman, I think it was about a year in when I first started working. The daughter, she's an attorney. She was like, I cannot do this. Nope, she will not listen to me. Trust me, there's no point for you to meet her. She's not going anywhere. And I was like, okay, challenge accepted. Let me go speak with her. She moved into a community 3 days later.
3 days.
She was there 2.5 years.
Wow.
Every time I went there touring, she thrived.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
great.
It was great to see. Yes. And it's just different not coming from family.
Absolutely.
And every community, if you want to leave, it's a 30-day notice. You can leave. Give a 30-day notice. That's it.
You're not trapped.
Yep. It's not a year. It's not signing for a house. And unfortunately, you won't get that community feedback, but at least you tried it. And I think I've had probably 3 or 4 people in my 4 or 5 years I've been doing this switch communities because of
They didn't like it, or
yeah,
okay,
because of preferences.
certain things.
Or I've had some need to switch because they exceeded this one community's enhanced license, but they were eligible for another community's enhanced license. So just because you get to a point where the community is saying, you're past our license of enhanced care, it's going to be safer for you to go to a nursing home. I've had clients call me again saying, hey, are we nursing home or are there other options? I will be completely honest because I'm not going to have them go to another enhanced assisted living for 3 months if they're declining and say, we are going to be more nursing home appropriate. Otherwise, I'm going to say, no, I think we just need to go to a different enhanced assisted living. If you choose nursing home in the end, that's okay. Just know your options.
How do you and you sort of like touched on this a little bit, but how do you deal with maybe that feeling of guilt, whether it be from like a husband and wife where they realize they can't care for their loved one, but they feel like they're giving up. Like, I'm not going to do, and I actually have, I'm thinking of somebody who will not move out of the house, whose wife has dementia and has had dementia since probably her mid-50s. And he says, I love her. I'm not giving up on her, right? But what happens is he can't go to Home Depot because the house might catch on fire. And certain things like that have happened. So he's had hiccups. And then what happens is he passes on that burden to family or friends. Hey, could you come over and watch my wife for so-and-so? And people have done it. They've been helpful enough. But they've also trying to remind him, like, hey, there's help available. No, I'm not giving up on her. She loves me. She wouldn't want. I don't think anybody like, I would never want to pass that burden on to my wife, my son, my parents, anybody. Yep. If there's programs available to help you. Like, it's not like there's no options. There are options. So how do you help people kind of cope and maybe understand besides educating them? Is there like a trick? Is there something that you can do to kind of have them open their eyes and say, you know what, you're right, Holly?
I would say the spouses where one has more of a cognitive impairment or dementia are the hardest. There are day programs where you can get a break and have them.
Even that has to be great.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of times people with dementia, they're looking for stimulation. They need some. So that's why sometimes they'll follow you everywhere. Or if you're not there, where did you go? Where did you go? They're looking for that stimulation. It is challenging to be that stimulation all the time.
Yeah.
And there are great home care agencies that can come in just for an hour or two if you need a break. And it sometimes can relieve the pressure of asking family and friends continuously. Or I say, try it out. Go try it out for a day. Try a day program. Try a home care agency. It's not a fit. There's another home care agency, and come with me. Let's go do tours together. I have a client right now and so in love with his wife. And he feels like he's giving it. He's like, nope, I want her here. I want her here. And he's like, but I don't know what to do. And I'm like, okay, we don't know what's going to happen. She's at the beginning stages of dementia, but let's prepare. Let's just go take some tours, take a look around, see what he's like. I'm really not going to have her go anywhere. I'm like, that's okay. At least you know your options. And I'm like, I handhold him. Let's go together. This is us. He put in 3 applications, and he's not for anytime soon. He's like, I just want to be prepared. He wanted to be financially qualified and be prepared. And he wants her home as long as possible. But if he cannot do it, he's ready for the backup. He's seen it, and it's better to start sooner. Wonderful if they can stay there, but there are other resources if it comes to that point.
Why not? I think it's a pride thing maybe for
Absolutely.
men. I'd say more for men. I don't know if it could be for women too, but I'm not going to let her go. I'm not going to give up on her. She wants me to, and a lot of these people that I have that have a loved one like that in that scenario, like they're gone. I mean, they're so far beyond, like they actually need care. They need some supervision, really. That's sad.
It is. And I will say clients with cognitive impairments or dementia tend to be kept home longer than someone with physical impairments. Because physical can be more physically exhausting for someone to take care of them. And cognitively, you're like, they're still functioning, they're still doing great, but they're not safe otherwise because it's not connecting. And it's a very hard decision to have your loved one go to a community. But I try to explain it's not a dungeon. You still can come and go. You can sleep over at some of these if you want to be close. And it comes to the point where you can move in too. It's not ideal to sell your house, but you can join them. Even in a memory care, there are some communities where you can sign a waiver saying, I know I don't have a cognitive impairment, but I want to be with my loved one. Can I do that? And I'm like, let's go to the memory cares where you can be with them in the same room, or you can be in the same house as them, maybe not in the same room, just to be together. Or if you need, go to the assisted living, or some have assisted living, independent living, and memory care all connected.
All in one.
You might be independent living and they're memory care. You're still together. You can be together all day. No problem. You're just going to sleep separate. You're going to get the rest you need because you can sleep through the night and not worry that they're safe.
How about the quality of care?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just think about how difficult it is to find people to work. I was looking at some of the shortages, especially with healthcare worker burnout, right? High turnover.
Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed any changes in the level of care being provided kind of across the board without like picking on one, community versus another?
So I will say in this business, it's a day-to-day business. And a lot of the time, sometimes you can see burnout. I've seen it. I used to be in a community at one point where I saw a lot of burnout. And sometimes if someone doesn't show up for their shift, the other person's mandated to stay.
I see.
For another 8 hours because they need the bodies.
It's a long day.
It is. But I've also seen communities where the executive director or the administrator, hey, we're down a body, I'm jumping in. This is what we do.
No kidding.
Absolutely. Some of them are nurses. They want their community to run well. They're going to train all their staff to be able to help provide that support. So it takes a village. And that's where when I go on tours with clients and communities, I give them like a 4-page touring questionnaire where things to look for, things to ask. What's your staff to client ratio right now? Is it 1 to 8 because you have enhanced? Is it 1 to 20? Is it 1 to 25? So that's less aides. Some say we staff per needs. So if someone has higher needs, they bring on more staff. Do we have nurses? Do you have nurses 8 hours a day, 16 hours a day? Are they RNs? Are they LPNs? The little details that would be important to know prior to going in. We really need to know what the staffing's like. But I do see a lot of sometimes the same staff, just a different environment, just a different community or different rehab. They just switched. So they're still in the industry. They just decided to go to a different community.
And you said if somebody's not happy with their care, they could switch. They can make a change. 30-day notice, something
30
like
days.
that. Mm-hmm. Have you had anybody do that?
Yeah, I've had a couple, but I am always the one where if something's not going right, you call me. I need to know this for future clients too. And I also need to know, is it something that can be fixed? I know all the executive directors. I got all their emails. Some of them I have their personal cells. And I'm saying, we need a care plan meeting. This isn't going right. This is what I'm hearing. This is not okay. And this is what we need to work on. But just because something's not going right doesn't mean it can't be fixed. So most of the communities, I really haven't had anyone push back on it. They want to get better. They're like, if this isn't working, then what can we do? Or maybe it's a certain staff member where it's like, it's uncomfortable doing showers with someone you maybe just met or you're not jiving with. So can we get a different aide in there on shower days? Simple fixes. So I just always have them come back to me because many of them are like, well, but your job's over. You have nothing to do with this. They're my communities. I have everything to do with them. So bring me in. Especially, I had one time with a memory care, and family had a lot of issues going on. And usually they do a follow-up assessment after 30 days to see how they're doing and bring the family in and discuss good and bad. But I said, what was it, like a week or two in? I'm like, we need a care plan now. And I arranged a care plan, and things got better.
Well, I have to imagine the communities want to make sure that they're doing the best they can, right? Because you and other people like you wouldn't be touring with them.
Correct.
Right?
And it's their reputation too. It's their name on the community. Yeah. They're there to help people. That's what they're there for. So, and it's just some people are afraid to voice their opinions. So I said, again, bring me in. I'm going to be your voice then. I have no problem talking to them.
So we talked about financial aspects. We talked about the emotional aspects. We talked about planning, when to plan, what you help with. To wrap up the show, I want you to give us, and you've probably seen so many, just the biggest mistake that you can think of that families make, and it could be starting the planning process too late. It could be, what's one thing that you could say or to kind of highlight that people make mistakes with?
They think they have more time.
They think they have more time.
Think they have more time. And they'll plan when it's time.
It's never going to happen to me.
Yep, never going to happen. Or, well, I'll address it when it comes. And, I already know I want to go to the friendly home. I'll just go to the friendly home. Unfortunately, there's a lot involved to be able to be accepted to a community. So wonderful. If you can go to the friendly home, wonderful. But it depends on availability, your medical needs, financial needs, or they only have one community they want to go to. And then they get disappointed because they get denied. And they're like, well, then where do I go? What do I do? That's the only community I wanted. So don't put all your eggs in one basket, and consider multiple options and start sooner.
Starting sooner, knowing at least what your options are going to be, to kind of frame out what things might look like. And like you said, you might do a tour and then 10 years later go back and say, you know what, I thought I liked this place, but I'm good. I want to look at something else.
Yep. And at least you know your options. And, with me, my longest client was 4.5 years. And then she was finally ready to have her husband be placed. And it was a very emotional toll. But I'm not a pusher. She just knew we contacted every 2-3 months. How are things going? What's going on? And I know the availability. How many rooms are available? Is it studios? Is it one bedrooms? What's the pricing like now? And, I have updated food menus, activities calendars, like what's going on, what's jiving now in the community. And it's nice when there's no time limit with my services. And I try to be like an encyclopedia for all their questions that they're going to have when it is time. Because it's a very emotional toll, and so many people just wait too long.
I think there's a sense of pride, especially, I talked about this with men, but do you know what the biggest planning component I get from men?
No.
I'm going to take my shotgun out in the backyard. And it's like, oh my God. And the wives just kind of cringe. It's this like macho, like, I'm going to be fine. It's not going to happen to me.
Yep.
And then again, it's not giving up on my wife. She wouldn't want this. But I feel like women are more open, just from a planning standpoint, even here at the office when it comes to retirement. Men will drown and never put their hand up saying they need help, even though there's people there that are ready and willing to help them. They don't want the help. They don't want to ask for help. Mm-hmm. I'm too proud.
It is
almost, right?
Yep. Well, and it's, if you are married and you expect to age together and die together in the house together, well, one passes and you start to decline, and it's unsafe for you to stay in your house. I know you want to be there and you're stubborn and you're like, no, I'm not going anywhere. But something could happen and then you don't get a choice. You got to go somewhere. Like I said, if you can stay there, wonderful. Just come with me. Let's go look. Let's have some free lunches. Why not? If you don't like it, you at least know you don't like it. And it's just, I don't know. My dad says to me, he says, when it gets to that point, if he's in a wheelchair, put him on 2 skis, shove him down the hill. He's good to go. He's already got a plan.
He's good to go.
Like, I swear he's like sharpening his skis, just to be, but he's preparing, type of thing. Yeah, he's a jokester. But it can't hurt to look. If it never happens, that's fine. The same with the clients in rehab, where after 3 weeks, we've already been planning for assisted living or even a short-term stay, but they got to go home. Wonderful. If there's another rehab stay, you got my number. And then it does become eventually, or they try home care. Sometimes they'll get a call 2 weeks later. Home care's not working. It's just unsafe still. Okay, we got to pivot. No problem.
Wow. Great chat.
Yes,
Love
thank you.
chatting with you. What's the best way to get started? To find out more info? Is it just calling? I have your website pulled up. I'll make sure we have a link to your website and your phone number. But how do people reach out?
I would say the most common is by phone. And I get a lot of texters lately. And just shoot me a text like, hey, Holly, my name's Mary. I need help with my mom. Can you give me a call? Or if you just want to leave me a voicemail. Email, I'm on that email all the time. And any way I can help, I'm happy to help.
Where are your first meetings usually held?
Depending on the situation, I usually go to the rehabs, right to their room. Sometimes if they don't want the client to be involved, the family, I'll meet with them at the rehab to discuss things with them first, and then they might want to bring me to the room and talk to the client. I like the client to be involved as much as possible if they're cognitively okay to be involved. It should be ultimately their decision. And then otherwise, I'll go to their home and just sit down in their environment, make them feel comfortable. They don't have to leave, and just start a conversation. That's all we're doing.
Love it.
Yeah.
I'll make sure I have a link in the bio to Holly's info. Thanks so much for chatting today. Great
Appreciate
show.
You've been listening to Pennywise Financial, brought to you by Monarch Wealth Management. Constantine and David really care about their clients. They want to make sure you're happy, so you'll continue to hire them. There's no commitments, and clients are free to leave whenever they want. Think about being able to pick up the phone and call someone for guidance and advice on almost anything, from buying a car, selling a home, buying vacation properties, or even selling a business. Reach out on the website at monarchwealthmanagement.com. There are 2 offices in Rochester and 2 offices in Buffalo. Reach out to us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube, or call us toll-free at 800-480-1580. That's 800-480-1580. Until next time, this is Pennywise Financial, signing off.
The opinions voiced in this program are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, and financial advisor or tax advisor prior to investing. Securities are offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, and SIPC.